All right, so the next big project we're going to start up in here is the port. Not a total rip out and redo because it's pretty much going to stay as it is. Just a couple tweaks like double ending the yard, redoing some curvature, that sort of thing. One of the first things we're going to do is if we pan over here and see what old Peanut Shell's up to. Tell us what you doth be working on, Mr. Rich. Show and tell time.
We have a whole radius curve here that has actually multiple radiuses in it in a flat spot.
30, it narrows in straight, and there's a vertical hump in here somewhere.
Right. So starting a little bit further down the hill, we should be able to lay a 36-inch radius on this curve all the way around. So that's pretty much where that curve would go.
And so that's going to be
we're starting the curve
real
further
nice.
down the hill, and it's going to go inside and then back out to the.
Come up.
So that is pretty close to where that radius is going to go.
So that's the next big area that we'll do. This will have another power district back here. We'll have a couple of fuse boards to subdivide this into more areas. And then the thing I'm fixing to work on tonight to come over here and have a little update look at the fiddle yard. We got the ladder in on both sides. Everything ran real smooth, even for the open house, and we did some test shoving of cars in it. The thing I'm fixing to do tonight is on the left side of this, we had to trim a couple of the feeders when we were putting it in. Rich did, and I'm fixing to drop them back in, and while I'm at it, probably somewhere over in here, I'm thinking, or maybe on the other end, get a panel put up and start doing the wiring prep work for in here. So go ahead and redo all these feeders, get to where you have your separate reds for each track so we can turn all of them off. And for now, just run that to the panel and jumper it at a terminal block. So everything will still be live, but it'll be subdivided. And then when we actually get the panel in here, all we got to do is take the jumpers off, wire it up to the panel, and it's good to go. So that's that. All right, a little bit of an update on the signaling test board. So just kind of refresh y'all what we got on here, where we're at with it. A little bit of test board. This is divided into basically 3 detected, 3 undetected. So we've got a spur right there. Mainline controlled turnout essentially. And then a insulated rail joiner right there, because this is the gapped rail. This turnout back is a block. We have an air insulator right here, and then this is the third block. And then we have one right here because this is going to be spur and undetected. So all these things are going to route all the wires because all the wiring is going to be on top, so you can kind of see how it works. A couple of cable clamps in here. This is your CT coils for each of the 3 blocks. All right, as we know too much. And then you got your leads coming through each. 2 boards on this. So this one's going to be your block detector board. This one's going to be your signaling board. This is your main in out. This is a tower controller, so think of it like the hub of a wheel, and then the spokes going out from the hub are all your satellite boards for push button interface, block detection, signal control, etc. And then of course for the computer to read it, you have your LocoNet cable and your local buffer USB, and then your printer cable to go from the local buffer into the computer. So need a couple more things. We do have Nolan's old Power Pro cab right here, so that'll get us a DCC system for the track power and the power of the frogs. And then I need to get a power supply for the tower controller, but that won't be too hard. And then the rest of this will just be the extra wiring. So that's pretty much where the board is. Ethan's working on the Atlas snap relays. I'm going to start working on this, so this is pretty much officially the start of working on the signaling project. But more to come.
What?
How long, Nolan? How long has it been since we've had the pool table cleaned off to actually do a game?
About
3 weeks ago.
3? Okay, you must have all done it between Fridays.
No, the fun part is you can't use the pool cue all the way around the table.
So there you go. We got a bunch of people.
What do you mean you can't? Sure you can. It's my rules, but you can use it. Graham Green, Graham something, a professional golfer, has 12 feet everywhere around his, but he has a lot more money than I do.
So we got a bunch of people coming over. This is looking to be a fun Friday night already. All right, another bit update. So again, probably had this a different clip, but nice, long, straight, 11 inches. And then you can kind of see the difference. I caulked it. So everything from here over, I got caulked 2 or 3 hours ago. I've been working on other stuff, which I'll show you all that. And then I basically just did from here all the way around and around the curve and back to just past that re-railer. So it's all drying. I'll drop feeders next week, next time I'm up here. That's what I did with this. So I came up here Saturday. This is Saturday too. I had the chance. I was like, I haven't been up twice in a week in a long time, or just up here when it was just me to listen to my music and piddle. So that's what I did. In any event, we did that. Another thing we did, if I'll go ahead and zoom in on it here. You can probably just barely see it, but a bunch of these track over there. So these, well, first 3, sorry for the shock of the giant ass finger. I went ahead and painted the rail. Visible, all the visible rails, both sides. So that's coming. And then the other thing I did tonight, well, a couple of things. If we come over here, and I'm trying to get this laid out, some of this paperwork laid out to where you can actually see it. Makes sense. So if we come over here to the dispatcher's desk for a minute, what I've done is working on ops a little bit. But I took this off of a 76 timetable I found on the Nolan Historical Society and saved it as a PDF, and I got the file stored on the layout computer. So I worked on the industry database. It's updated for 50s and 60s, and then the middle era, which, what was I put? Something like, no, 40s and 50s, and then like 1970 to 1985. So just past the Family Lines merger. But in any event, I did tweak a couple of things, like the one that I got here is a local. From the timetable, it looks like it was actually 2, but for the sake of how we're going to operate this layout, I wanted to just have one run through. So you can see Radnor, which again is over here in Nashville. You'll notice northbound and southbound, but to like Radnor, Gadsden, which is Southside Yard, and then Bowling Green, I've got the times. Again, a couple of these are different, but that was about 3.5 hours, which, looking at the timetable, that seems to be the breakdown between Gadsden and Nashville, and Gadsden and Bowling Green, because it's about 6 hours on the timetable for the trains that went just straight between Nashville and Bowling Green. So I kind of did some inference there. As of right now, we've got a 3-way local. We've got a fast freight northbound, a general merchandise freight northbound, second fast freight southbound, You can see fast freight, local freight, and fast freight are all mirrored southbound. So, like I said, we got the industry list. I have a freight car routing right now. It's just literally an email draft that I just started filling it out. I need to turn that into an Excel sheet, like actually turn it into an Excel or the Libre equivalent of it. And once I have that, that's going to be the three main things we need to start actually filling out car cards and weigh bills. So this is the beginning. Obviously, there are two more fast freights on the schedule, plus the Pan American. So obviously, there's nothing on here for passenger schedules, and as you can tell from the town names, this does not include anything on the secondary yet. So that's partially because, assuming this is good enough to call it, run it by Rich and run it by Nolan and get the okay that this is going to be the working model, I'll go ahead and make a computer version of this. Again, like a Libre's equivalent of Office or whatever. Libre Write, make an equivalent, this and that, and have it all nice and neat. And then we'll use this to figure out the branch to secondary, which is the branch line that came out of Gadsden. I forget the name of it in real life. In real life, it was pretty much out of business by the 30s. Obviously, we're assuming it was proto-freelancing it and assuming it was a lot more prosperous. But it fits on the map. There's a couple names to add. We've added to the branch line that Nolan didn't have a name for it, and I pulled a name from the actual branch, so at least it's has a sense of actual place on a real map for the sake of operations. But so that's pretty much for Saturday. Anyways, that's what I did tonight. The painting, caulked it, and then worked on all this. So you know drill. More to come. All right, test run. So obviously it ran backwards. I just shoved it through from the Union Station throat all the way down through the new alignment. It is going to stutter, but that's because there's about 8 feet in here with no rail, with no feeder, so it's relying solely on rail joiners for conductivity. Great example of why I don't trust rail joiners for conductivity, but just be aware of that. Main purpose of this is to make sure stuff actually goes around the corner and doesn't come off. So anyways, here we go. And yes, this is the minimum for Walther's passenger cars. So this is what Walther says is the flange squealing minimum, 24 radius, but as you can see, it barely works, but it does work. Right, so like overhead view. Yes. A lot of overhang, I know. And yeah, that's, like I said, that's where we start getting into the dead spots. But the cars are making it through. That's what we're trying to test. And there they go. Back into Union Station.